Politico laying out the Biden administration's less can be more approach for the media, writing, quote, 3 months in, Joe Biden's White House has settled on a firm press strategy. First, do no self-harm. Does this explain why Vice President Kamala Harris hasn't addressed the border issue? Is she avoiding possible backlash by doing something? Here to react, Fox News contributor and media opinion columnist for The Hill, Joe Concha. Joe, we're trying to grasp at a reason why she seems disinterested in the assignment she was given from the president. What do you come up with?
Well, I see that Kamala Harris, Brian, in the last 8 months, remember, it was 8 months ago she was chosen as Joe Biden's running mate, she has not done one press conference. And before you say, well, vice presidents don't do press conferences, yeah, I'm old enough to remember 2020 when Vice President Pence did dozens of them as a leader of the coronavirus task force. He was out there taking questions from the press on a daily basis. So there goes that excuse. But look, when you have a vice president that's been tapped to fix the problem that she has no interest in solving, that's an issue. When she compared ICE to the KKK as a senator, as a candidate, she would have to answer for that, I would think, during a press conference if a Ducey or a Fisher asked that question. She would also have to explain why she thinks that illegal border crossings, which we're seeing now by the hundreds and thousands, is considered legal in her mind. And that's an argument that she made as a senator and a candidate. So here we have a chronic complainer, it appears, and not a doer based on her actions. Because, again, if she had to answer questions around why are facilities filled at 17 times the amount at the border, meanwhile, we're hearing about reports of abuse, of sexual assault. PolitiFact says that they don't know the exact positivity rate among migrants in terms of COVID testing. And a lot of these folks are being released into the general population. So this is supposed to be the honest and transparent administration. Instead, it's more acting like Pyongyang in terms of media blackouts at the border, which would never be accepted under the previous administration.
It seems like a couple of years ago, it was just a couple of years ago when Kamala Harris had that great rollout. And then when she was asked about issues like health care and border security, she said one ridiculous thing after another. She couldn't last a primary. She was ill-prepared, as if somebody gave her a test and she forgot to study. Nothing's changed. And I laugh when people analyze and say, well, she was handed a hand grenade. Not really. Do you think that Mike Pence embraced loved getting the pandemic portfolio? No, but he embraced it because you got to do big things if you're the second most powerful person in the country. So Biden defends Harris this way. When I served as VP, I asked to be the last person the president before big decisions were made, and at VP is providing the same counsel to me. She's the last voice in the room and never fails to speak the truth as we work to build our nation back better. Then where is her policy? We heard some policies put into place with Mexico, Honduras, and Guatemala about handling the illegal immigration coming from their countries. Kamala Harris should have been heading that up.
Yeah, Brian, she's the last one in the room because she's not at the border. She isn't visiting a border that she was put in charge of. What are we talking about now? 3 weeks ago? And then we hear an excuse a couple days later from the White House press secretary saying, no, actually, the vice president is in charge of diplomacy. OK, again, that means getting out and seeing these people, not doing phone calls. Why haven't you traveled to Guatemala or Nicaragua or Mexico in terms of solving this problem? And how do you solve a problem at the border when you can't grasp it by talking to border officials, by talking to these people running these migrant facilities? If you're not there and you don't see it, you can't fix it. So, look, this is a Team Biden strategy that seems to be playing not to lose. It was risk-averse during the campaign. It's now the risk-averse presidency. That only works for so long because at some point you're going to be judged on your actions. And to this point, the Biden administration's been about a lot of words and spending a lot of money, but not a lot about actual action when it comes to fixing crises like we're seeing at the border.
And, you know, Politico writes, too, that, Barack Obama did Between Two Ferns, used to do late-night television, did a lot more interviews, and Joe Biden is, we're not doing that. And a lot of people question whether it's Ron Klain running the country or is Susan Rice running the country because she's head of domestic policy. It doesn't look like either one of them are taking the lead or hiding it well. Joe Concha, thanks so much.